So thank you so much for being here. As I mentioned, have some props nearby if you'd like to use them, but they are not necessary. You won't need them for the poses, but you might find that based on your intention of the practice, you might want to have them nearby. We're going to start the class in a Supta Badakanasana. So in order to get to that pose, you're going to lay on your back and start to bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to go wide. If you're looking for props in this posture, there are a couple of things you can do. One is you could take your folded up blanket or towel and place it underneath your back so you've got a little of elevation. Another way that you could utilize your props if you want is to set blocks or some other kind of support underneath your knees so that there's less intensity on your inner legs, hips, groin area. Also, if you know for yourself that this posture is not something that feels comfortable, it's too vulnerable, it's too much in some way, then rather have your knees bent, soles of feet into the mat, and then press your knees toward each other so they are supported. So start to move yourself into the position that makes the most sense for you at this time. And if you find as you're entering a pose that the choice you've made maybe not be the best one, then it is completely within your agency to change. And if it's comfortable for you to allow your eyes to close and let that happen, if that is a bit too much, then allow your eyes to remain open and hold a softer gaze. For your hand placement, if you've chosen a Supta Badakanasana, you're on your back with your knees wide, soles of feet together, you could place your hands to your inner thighs for a little bit more added weight. Or perhaps it makes more sense to you to have a hand on heart, hand on belly, or both hands on your belly. Take a scan of your body starting at the top of your head. Seeing if you can find softness to your forehead, your cheeks, the muscles surrounding your eyes, your mouth, letting your tongue drift away from the roof of your mouth. Jaw separating from the bottom from the top. Even feeling the back of your neck become a little softer, allowing the front of your neck to become soft. Recognizing what your shoulders feel like all the way down through your arms, down through your chest and your belly. Noticing as you inhale and exhale, how this feels different through your chest, your back, the sides of your body. Notice the weightiness of your hips. Take a scan through your legs. Paying close attention to those parts of your body that are pressing into your floor or your yoga mat. Take a moment to acknowledge your breath once again. And then take a reverse path, just acknowledging the parts of your body and the sensations, starting from the base of your body, from your toes, and making your way all the way up your body to the crown of your head. And in this class, if this is an intention that you'd like to carry with you, we will seek to recognize, acknowledge, accept, and proceed. Allowing yourself to witness your body and your thoughts, accept, and proceed. In your next several breaths, I'd like you to make a statement for yourself, an I am statement, and fill in that last gap with something that is meaningful to you. Perhaps I am acceptance, I am peace, anything that seems to resonate with you. So for the next several breaths, breathe in, I am, and then exhale the completion of your mantra. And I'm going to take one more inhale and exhale together as a community as we seal these together. Deep breath in. And then exhale, release. If you've taken the knees wide option, take your hands to the backs of your thighs and start to bring your knees back up toward each other. If you have a prop underneath you, simply slide it out to the side. And then come back onto your back. Pull both knees in your chest, in towards your chest, hands to your kneecaps very loosely, and then just start to move your knees together in circles. And then start to move in the opposite direction as well. About the same number of circles. And then place both feet back onto the mat so you've got bent knees. We're going to take a half happy baby pose here first. So pull your right knee in kind of towards your armpit, extend your foot towards the ceiling and reach your hand for the outside of your right foot. If that doesn't work for you, you can take your ankle, calf, or even down to your thigh. Start to pull your knee down towards your armpit as you press your right heel up toward the ceiling. Your left arm can be on your belly or out to the side. What makes the most sense for you, for the mantra that you set, your intention. Just breathe. Release the right foot, place your foot into the mat so both knees are bent. Take a moment simply to acknowledge sameness and difference between both legs and pull your left knee in. So you can take your half happy baby again for the other side. Ardha Ananda Balasana. So again, you're pulling your knee down towards your armpit, pressing your left hip upward. Notice if you feel your right hip come away from the mat a little bit. This isn't a problem. Simply observe, accept, proceed. And then release that left foot. Let your left foot come into the mat so both knees are bent. And then we're going to take a full happy baby. So pull both knees in, reach for the outsides of your feet. Or again, if that's not something that is accessible to you, ankles, calves, or even thighs. And maybe find a little bit of playfulness here, rocking from side to side. You can even extend one leg, let it go straight, and the other, maybe both at the same time. You may even find that it's fun to come almost like into a Shavasana pose, kind of rock back to your mid back. Just be very careful of what is something that is comfortable for you. And then release your feet. Let your feet come down into the mat once again. We're going to take that hand to toe pose. So if you prefer to use a strap, you can do that and wrap the strap around the base of the ball of your foot. Or extend right leg up toward the ceiling, take your hands to the back of your thigh, or fingers, peace fingers, right hand all the way up to your right toe. If it's okay, extend your left leg out in front of you. If this is too much on your hip flexors, then don't even worry about it. Start to draw your leg back, pressing up your right heel, shoulders release down. Soften through your jaw. Maybe coming back to that I am mantra that you stated at the beginning of this class. And if there's another mantra that you find actually makes more sense, again, observe, accept, and adjust. Just react to it and proceed. Release the tension of your right leg, bend your right knee. We're going to take a supine twist. So left hand to the outside of your right thigh, and then draw your entire leg over to the left. Press your elbows to the mat to adjust your shoulders, perhaps deepening the twist, and send your gaze over toward the right. If you're looking for a little bit more intensity, with your left hand, place a little bit more weight onto your right thigh. On an exhale, take your head and knee back to center. Pull and drop your right foot to the mat. Pull your left leg in. We'll take hand to toe pose. Extend the heel up toward the ceiling. Again, grasp around the back of your thigh or take a clasp as you like. Right leg extends out. If you are clasping your hands around your thigh or your calf, see if you can remember how to interlace your fingertips the opposite way. Shoulders back, soft jaw. Tiny movements on your exhales. So as you breathe in, In addition to filling your mantra with the I am, imagine that your breath can go all the way up through your left leg. And on your exhales, as you draw your thigh closer to you, as you make the final word of the statement. Release the tension of the leg, set the strap to the side. If you use that, bend your left knee, take your right hand to the outside of your thigh, and then draw your left leg across your body. Again, adjust your shoulders as you need. Send your gaze over to the left. And if you'd like more intensity, a little bit more weight from your right palm onto your left thigh. On your next exhale, head, knee back to center. Pull both knees in towards your chest. Once again, maybe give yourself a tight squeeze, wrapping your arms around your shins, bring your forehead up towards your knees. And we're going to make our way to a downward facing dog. So you can either roll to one side and make your way, or rock up and down the length of your spine, roll over your hands and knees, and come to downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Give yourself a few moments of observation. Maybe you find that it's good to send your heels in one direction and then the other. Perhaps bending your knees really deeply. And then lift up to your toes and come down onto your knees here in a tabletop position. Untuck your toes if that's comfortable for your knees. And we're going to take 2 rounds of cow and cat. Inhale, drop your belly, reach your heart forward, send your gaze up. And then exhale, really arch your spine. Pull your belly button up towards your spine. Send your gaze even maybe towards your belly. Once more like that. Inhale, come to cow. Exhale, press up into cat. And then come back down to neutral spine. We're going to thread the needle here. So reach your right arm out to the side. And then on the exhale, thread your right arm underneath you. Come onto your right side of your face. And feel free to stay here or take one of the options I'm offering, or perhaps something else. You can twist your arm so that you're placing the back of your left hand around towards your low back or to your right hip. Or if you'd like a little bit more extension, reach your left arm out in front of you. Inner elbow points up. Come back to your breath, your mantra. Whichever hand variation you've chosen, start to walk your left hand back so it is beneath your left shoulder. Press to that hand, unravel, right fingertips up toward the ceiling, look up towards your right thumb. And then on an exhale, place your right hand down to the mat, shift your weight over to that right hand, left arm comes out. And then thread your left arm underneath you, come onto your left shoulder. And then I invite you to take a hand placement that is similar to the last side that you did. Again, you're the observer, making your choices. And if you need to respond in a different way, please respond in a different way. Begin to walk your right hand back so your palm is beneath your shoulder. Press to that. Left fingertips come up, fully unravel. And then exhale, take your hands back down toward the mat. Lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. And then rock to your left hip. Reach your right leg out long. Just see if you can find an extra ½ inch of length. Rock over to the right side, extend your left leg out. Kind of creating space for the skin on your body to find a more secure placement on your mat. And then reach your arms behind you. Interlace your fingers. Notice which pinky is on the outside. Bring the heels of your hands together. You can keep your legs as they are in hips width distance, or again, take that rock from side to side and then bring your legs together. So you've got a little bit of mermaid legs zipping up the insides of your feet. Shrug your shoulders up and back. Reach your fingertips back. Your shoulders come up. We come to Locust Pose. Point your toes back so much that they lift up and away from the mat. Send your gaze slightly down. So take away the extreme curve in your neck. So you're not craning upward. Simply breathe. Can you float away from the mat here? And then exhale, softly release down. Unclasp your fingertips, take one cheek down to the mat, let your heels drop out to the sides. Bring your chin back to center. Interlace your fingers the opposite way, other pinky on top. And we're going to take that same pose, move as you're ready, shrug your shoulders up and back, perhaps your legs zip up, reach back, point through your toes, lift up through your inner thighs, press down through your hips, through your pelvis that is. See if that allows you to lift up even higher. Just breathe. Forehead out of the pose, and then on an exhale, release all the way down, softly, softly. Other cheek down toward the mat. Heels drop out to the sides. Palms are up. Take your chin back to center. Bring your hands alongside you. And then press up and back to downward facing dog. If you'd like, you can press up through a chaturanga or go through hands and knees. Maybe even pressing all the way back to a child's pose in order to get to where you need to go. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up toward the ceiling for a tripod dog. Bend your knee, open up through your hips. Really point your right knee up toward the ceiling. And then on an exhale, you're going to sweep all the way around. Take your right foot to the outside of your right hands for a lizard pose. So for this variation, I'm going to be taking left knee down. If you prefer to have the knee up, then do what is going to work best for you. And again, if you want to use a block, as we talked about toward the beginning of class here, you could use a block to come down. We are going to do a couple of different variations of this lizard pose. So for this first one, as you descend down towards either your block or just bending your elbows a bit or all the way down to forearms, you're going to be pressing down through your big toe mound, little toe mound, and your heel of your right foot so that your right knee stays relatively upright. So it's just not falling out to the side, just not yet. And in this pose, can you soften in the places where you need to soften? Taking tension out of your fingertips, out of your jaw, and out of your thoughts. Returning back to the mantra you stated. Slow your breathing. If you've come down to block or to your forearms, begin to press your way back up. And then we're going to take a flying lizard variation here. So you're going to allow your right knee to drop out to the side. So no more trying to press down. Rather, you might even come all the way to the razor edge of your right foot as your right knee drops out. You might find that, I certainly find that this is more comfortable to me when my toes are at an angle to the right. And for me, it's kind of severe. It's like at least 45 degrees. And then you can take that same forward motion, maybe coming onto a block, and just allow your leg to drop to the side. And with your left leg, if your knee is down, make sure that you're still pressing through the tops of your toes if your toes are on top so that your heel is still pointing up and not just flopping out to the side. Gives you a little bit more stability all the way up, which affects your pelvis. Start to lift your way back up to your hands. Lift up your right knee. Step your right foot inward so that you've got a low lunge here. Tuck your back toes behind you. So you come up and you're in a low lunge. Step your left foot forward. Forward fold at the top of your mat. Reach your chest down towards your thighs. And then inhale, halfway lift. Fingertips into your shins or to your mat. Look forward. Exhale, forward fold once again. Bend your knees and then step back to downward facing dog. If you find the need for a vinyasa, please take a vinyasa if you would like. And then from your downward facing dog, inhale, left leg, come up, bend your knee, open up through your hips. Again, drop your left shoulder just a bit, really point your left knee up toward the ceiling. And then in one fell swoop on an exhale, take your foot to the outside of your left hand, setting up for that lizard pose once again. I'm going to be taking the down option. If you took the knee up option on the first side, then please do that. And again, we're going to take two different variations of this pose. So the first one is with your knee pointing more or less straight up toward the ceiling. Reach your heart forward, inhale, I am. Exhale, descend. Complete your statement, your mantra. As you're ready, start to press your way back up, setting the block to the side if you'd like. We're going to take the open variation here. So with the left knee, drop out to the side. Get an angle to the foot might be helpful. And if you have your right toes untucked, just be sure that you're still pointing your heel up toward the ceiling. And you can achieve this by pressing down through all 5 of those toenails. Descend as you're ready. Begin to press your hands into the mat if you took it a little bit lower. Take your left knee back up toward the ceiling. And then wiggle your left foot to the inside. So your left hand is to the outside and your left foot is in line with your left hip. Tuck your back toes, lift up the back knee, look forward, and then stand your right foot forward to the top of your mat, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart out. Press your feet down and away from you, and you might feel some more activation in your outer hips. And then exhale, fold while maintaining that. This time, take your peace fingers to your big toes and wrap your fingers around, thumbs to the top of your toenails. You can bend your knees to get to this position as much as you need. Inhale again, halfway lift, look out, shift the weight a little bit more towards the balls of your feet, and exhale, hinge forward. Start to lift your hips up, which will begin to straighten your legs. And if your legs come completely straight, you can bring your elbows out to the side and then use the strength of your arms to draw yourself down even more. Shrug your shoulders away from your ears and breathe. Inhale, lift up halfway, offer your heart out. Release your feet. Exhale, fold, and this time take a ragdoll pose. So maybe you choose to take your elbows and your hands, or even clasp your hands behind your back or behind your head. Start to release. And if a sway, a little bit of movement here suits you, then please do that or remain in stillness. And then release your fingertips down toward the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart outward. Exhale, fold. Step back to a top of a plank pose. And then if you'd like, take a vinyasa or simply meet me back in downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Lift your right leg up towards the ceiling for tripod dog. Exhale, again, take your foot to the outside of your right hand. Coming back to this lizard pose, this time keep your left knee up. Unless you prefer to take it down, in which case do that. I will be taking up a notch by keeping the left leg up. Inhale, reach your heart out. Exhale, bow. Get a little bit closer toward the mat. We'll be here for 5 breaths only. At the end of your fifth exhale, if you've come down to your forearms or the blocks, start to lift your way up. We'll take a Malasana posture. So Garland Pose. You'll step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Maybe this takes several steps, or lean forward and then on an exhale, pick up the left leg and place the foot to the outside. Toes out, heels in. Begin to lower your hips. And the distance between your heels will be determined a lot by your flexibility as well as simply your body's anatomy. If you find that your heels rise up here and you can't place your feet completely on the mat, roll up your yoga mat at the front, create this little cushion, and then place that underneath your heels. Also, if you happen to have a towel nearby or a blanket, that works too. Start to bring the palms of hands together and begin to bring your thumbs in towards your sternum. Finding spaciousness through your collarbones. Observe, accept, and respond. And then on an exhale, you're going to press your way up all the way to standing. So it takes a little bit of strength, quite a bit of focus. Pressing your palms together, this will help. Press down through the three corners of your foot that we talked about earlier. Exhale, lift all the way up. Yes. And then come to Tadasana. Your feet can be hips width distance, or you can bring your toes together, arms alongside your body, shoulder blades down. Find your strength here. Inhale, arms lift up, chin goes up. Exhale, forward fold. Release your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart outward. And then exhale to honor yourself. Make your way back to downward facing dog. If you'd like a vinyasa, please take one. Also, feel free to skip it. Deep inhale and full exhale. Next breath in, left leg comes up and back, and we'll take lizard to left side once again. If you took me down on this little sequence, then take it down here. I will be keeping my knee up. When you're ready, on an exhale, deepen your posture, starting to bend your elbows back, blocker all the way down to your mat, 5 breaths. Soften through your heart space. And at the end of your 5th exhale, when that occurs, start to press your way up. And we'll take Malasana Pose again, right foot coming to the outside of your right hand, taking one step or several. Make the adjustments that you need to enter the pose for the second time. You might find it is very the same or very different than the first time. And then with the strength that resides inside of you, on an exhale, make your way up to standing from your yoga squat. Start to bring your feet back in, hips width distance or toes to touch. And then leaving your hands in at your heart center or bringing them alongside your body. You'll stay in this upright position for several breaths. Your strength, your mountain pose. And then on an inhale, palms lift up, chin goes up. Exhale, forward fold. Breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and then take your way back to downward facing dog. This option for vinyasa is yours. Take a really deep breath in, so big that it feels as though your rib cage is growing more than it ever has. And then exhale, slowly soften. Allow your heart to drip down. And then in your next inhale, just a regular full breath. Maybe you found more space. On inhale, right leg comes up and back, and then take your knee to your right wrist, setting up for a pigeon pose. So pivot your shin across your body, drop your left knee, walk it back. And again, if you've got some props nearby that you'd like to use, you might place it underneath your right hip. Take a look over your left shoulder towards the back leg. Make sure that your heel isn't sliding off to the side. And then walk your hands alongside your hips. Scissor your thighs together so you've got some buoyancy and some strength, and maybe consider lifting your hands away from the mat. And then, if you would like, lift your arms up toward the ceiling. Keep pressing to the top of your back foot. And then, if you would like, bring your palms together, interlace your fingers, and release your index finger. Breathe. When you're ready, start to come to your forward version of your pigeon pose. If you find that this posture is not working for you, come onto your back for a figure four. Take a scan of your body, perhaps return to the mantra. Begin to press your hands into the mat to lift your way up. And you're going to rock over onto your right hip so you can send your left leg out in front of you. And we're going to take a Janu Shirsasana. So your right knee will continue to be bent. Place your right foot into your left thigh. Adjust the skin around your thighs and your bum. Create a little space. Flex your left toes toward your face. A bent knee is fine. Inhale, lift up. Pivot your torso over your left leg and then reach for your foot. Let your hands drop wherever they do. Inhale, lift out halfway once again. Accept where you are. Exhale, deepen further. Inhale, lift up halfway. And then exhale, release the pose. We're going to take a Batakanasana pose. So pull your left foot in, place the soles of your feet together, your knees wide. And if you're feeling good where you are, awesome. If you want to take it a little bit further, press your fingertips behind you, lift up your hips, and then scoot your hips towards your heels. Hands to your feet, shrug your shoulders back. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, hinge forward. When you find your back begins to round, just back up a bit. Inhale, I am. Lengthen. Exhale, your word, completion of your mantra, and you start to tilt forward just a little more. As you're ready, start to lift your way back up. Slowly, slowly release your feet. Scoot your hips back just a little bit. And then roll over your hands and knees. Make your way back to downward facing dog. If you'd like to take a vinyasa between sides or maybe a couple other postures, please take your time. Make your way back to downward facing dog. And then as you're ready, inhale, left leg, up and back, tripod dog. Exhale to place your foot toward your left wrist, coming into pigeon pose, opposite side. Walk the right leg back. And as you did on the first side, take a glance over your right shoulder. Make sure you've got straighter lines and the heel is more or less pointing up. And then begin to send your gaze back to the front. Scissor your thighs, start to walk your hands alongside your body. Maybe hover away. And then perhaps lift up, interlace your fingertips the opposite way. Index fingers pointing up. Breathe. And then as you're ready, begin to descend down, coming all the way forward, adjusting props if you need them. Take a scan of your body and soften wherever is needed, whether it's through your fingertips, the muscles around your eyes, perhaps gripping on thoughts. Begin to press your way back up. And then drop your hips over to the left side so that you can bring your right leg all the way around so you can take Janu Sirsasana, opposite side. Left foot in towards your right thigh. Inhale, lift up, pivot towards the right thigh, and then come all the way down. Give yourself one more chance to get out of the pose on an inhale, and then exhale to deepen. Lift up halfway, and then exhale, release the pose. We're going to take one more Batakanasana, and then an Upavista konasana. So this version of the Batakanasana is going to be a little bit softer, soles of feet together, knees wide, but instead of scooching forward, keep a comfortable distance. And you're going to lean forward, allow your back to round, and bring your arms out in front of you if that is comfortable. If that's not, then stack your fists and then create a little pillow for your forehead, or even place a prop on your feet so that you can find a little bit of surrender here. Keeping your head heavy. If your palms are up, flip them down, and then start to walk your hands in closer to you. Slowly winding your spine up straight, your head will eventually come up. Next pose is Upavista Konasana. So you're going to take your hands to the backs of your thighs and then extend your legs out wide. Scooch your hips forward if you'd like. Lift up your arms, flex through your toes, then on an exhale, you're going to start to come forward, go as far as you can, Again, it doesn't matter if your legs aren't straight. And then relax, allow your back to round. And again, if you find that it would be better for you if you had a prop underneath you, you can take a blanket, you can roll it up, you can use your fists, or even a block. If it is comfortable for you to have your head hang in space, allow that to be your posture. Find some flexion through your toes. Keeping your head heavy, if your palms are faced up, place them down, start to walk your way back up. Slowly letting your spine unfurl, your head being the last thing to lift up. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs, bring up your knees, and then start to bring your knees in, place your feet onto the mat. We're gonna take a reverse tabletop. Take your hands behind you. You're gonna have fingertips away or fingertips in toward you for this purpose of this posture right now. Choose what works best for you. Press through your feet and your hands, lift your way up, your shoulders above your wrists, your knees about over your ankles. Bring your tailbone like it's reaching towards the backs of your knees, press down through your feet, send your chin up, and then maybe start to give yourself a double chin, and then let your head drop back only if this feels okay for you. Keep your core strong, little tension to your bum, not too much clench. And then we rewind. Maybe come back to that double chin, bring your head up, drop your hips down to the mat, and then press your way up. Keep your right knee up, extend your left leg out in front of you. We're gonna take a twist. Extend your right hand behind you, fingertips away this time. Left hand comes up, twist at your belly. Take your elbow to the outside of your thigh or wrap your arm around your knee. Keep flexion to your left toes. And if you notice that all your weight went onto the right hip, shift it back and deepen your twist. Inhale, lengthen, I am. Exhale, complete the mantra, twist. Take your gaze back, facing towards your left foot, and then unravel, take a counter pose all the way over to the other side. Reach your right arm out long, let your head drop, get soft. And then press your way up. We're gonna take the other side, so right leg extends, pull your left foot in. Left hand behind you. Inhale, right arm lifts, twist your belly, take your full twist, elbow to the outside or to wrap around your shin. Again, notice you went all the way to left hip, shift it back. Find a little bit of equality. Inhale, lengthen, I am. Exhale, your mantra, twist. Send your gaze back towards your right foot. Unravel and then take a counter pose. Over to the other side, left arm comes out long, lean over onto your right hip and drop your head. And then press your way up. And then extend your legs out in front of you, reach your arms out, and then allow your back to curl, flex through your feet, and then slowly, slowly, slowly wind your way onto your back. Notice if there's a place where you start to shake a little bit and you can feel a lot through your belly. Give yourself just a few moments to acknowledge this tension that exists. And then lower yourself all the way down onto your mats completely. Bend your knees and place your feet into the mat. The next pose you're going to take is going to either be a full shoulder stand, if that is something that's your practice and you would like that kind of inversion, a supported shoulder stand with a block that would be underneath your sacrum on the first or second height, if it's centered toward the ceiling, or a legs up wall. If you happen to have a wall nearby, it's going to be that same experience. Your legs are up the wall, your hips are on the ground, or even on a block, depending on your mobility to get there. So take the next several breaths as long as you need to choose your posture, and then move fully into it. If you have taken either the supported shoulder stand, which is the block underneath your hips, or if you've taken legs up wall, then you might choose to take a position with your hands, similar to the way that we began this class, whether your arms are out wide, on hand, on your heart rather, or on your belly. We're going to start to come out of this posture. If you're in a traditional shoulder stand, please move very carefully. If you have legs against the wall, and begin to come down. If you're simply in a supported shoulder stand, just begin to bend your knees and eventually let your feet tap into the mat. And if you're using a prop, just set it off to the side. Gently pull your knees in close to you. Maybe rock a little from side to side, giving yourself a tiniest bit of massage. And we'll take one more supine twist. Right knee in, left leg extends. Draw your knee across your body. Once you get to where you're going, 5 breaths. At the end of your 5th exhale, take your head and knee back to center. Extend your right leg out. Pull your left knee in and twist in the opposite direction. Once you arrive, 5 breaths. And at the end of your exhale, take everything back to center. The final posture of this class will be Shavasana. If you find that you prefer to take legs up wall again, then begin to move to that posture. Otherwise, set yourself up for your Shavasana. As we talked about at the beginning of class, you might also choose to take a rolled up blanket or towel and place it underneath your knees for a little bit extra support. Find your place of stillness. And then begin to move some muscle activity. Allow your muscles to become softer and more relaxed, starting from the crown of your head, making your way all the way down. Breathe in. I am. Exhale. Begin to invite some more movement into your body. Deeper breath. And when you're ready, roll over onto your right side, pausing for several months and make your way up to a seated posture of your choice. And you can place your hands any way you'd like, or if you would like, backs of your hands onto your knees or your thighs. Curl in your index finger and place your index finger to the base of your thumb. Then allow your thumb to lay over your finger. Bring the other three fingers of each hand to each other, arms outstretched. On an inhale, bring your arms up above your head, palms pressed above you. And on an exhale, take your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and to your heart for clarity of action. Bow your head to your heart, honoring your observance, your acceptance, and your response. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. In the name of the highest good, namaste.